Hello everyone and welcome back to another financial check-in. Today we are doing a financial check-in for the last week of October. You all know that October for me has been a disaster, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go right ahead and get started. Hi everyone, welcome back. For those of you who have been here with me before, for those of you who are new, my name is Nandy, and on this channel I share my own personal financial journey, from how I am struggling to get out of debt to how I am learning to develop better money habits. So on today's video, on a weekly basis, I do my weekly financial check-ins. This is when I share, or at least I keep myself accountable and really looking over my expenses to see what I spent. Without further ado, let me shrink myself here. Before I shrink myself further, look at this here. I know you have all heard the horrible news. I was shocked when I heard about this. I could not believe Intuit is going to get rid of Mint. I have used this app for almost 10 years, and to think that they're just going to get rid of it is really quite unfortunate. However, you guys, I already got you covered. I have videos coming up of other alternatives that I've actively been using for a little while, and I'm going to do a full breakdown of that alternatives for you here soon. So not to worry. Quickly looking at my expenses here, so it looks like for the week of October 27th to November 2nd, I spent a total of $2,539.04. Let me go ahead and pull up my spreadsheet. You guys have seen me transfer my expenses from Mint to a spreadsheet. With Intuit getting rid of Mint, some people think that it was redundant, right? Why not just keep my expenses on Mint? Why do I transfer it into an Excel spreadsheet? Now you're starting to see, as much as I love technology, technology can be unreliable because you don't know when they're going to discontinue or get rid of something. My spreadsheets, especially since they are on the cloud, the odds of them getting lost are lower. Unfortunately, with things that are happening with Intuit, I feel like I'm a little bit vindicated for having both spreadsheet system and, of course, my softwares. Now, even more than that, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you've seen me talk a little bit about the planners. So I am going to be having a video coming up on my planner where I detail the paper planning of the billing process, right? I haven't used them quite a lot this year. I was still putting the finishing touches on it, but with Mint being gone, this would be a great time to introduce my planner to you guys and how I have used these planners as another planning tool. And for those of you who may not feel comfortable putting things on the clouds or on this software, the planners are going to be a great alternative. So that is going to be on the lookout for that video here soon. But chit-chatting over, let's get on with the budgeting. We are looking at the last week of October. The reason why, even though there are 2 days into November, I'm keeping it in October because 5 of those days were in October. So for me, it just makes it easier to take that approach. So I'm going to actually change this to November 2nd. November 2. Let's scroll down here. For those of you who are new to my spreadsheet, so I always start by putting in the total because my goal is to easily reconcile everything. So the total for this week was $2,539.04. Let's see, I spent $791 in travel. Yeah, so that was the hotel. Shopping, $460. Woo! Like, the month of October is just a wash for me. I'm going to give up on the month of October. And I'm going to look forward to the month of November where hopefully I'm going to screw my head on right. Food and dining. Okay, so some of this is work, some of this is personal. But for some reason, I've just been, I don't know, like with food and dining, you would think that since I'm trying to save money and lose weight, spending less on food will help me. but it's, for some reason I can't seem to do any better. It's personal, work related. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just quickly going through each one of the categories to make sure that all of the transactions in these categories are supposed to be there. Mint, as much as I love it, can sometimes poorly categorize things for me. Parking, okay. So now let's go ahead. So travel, I spent $791 on hotels. If you're new to my channel, I apologize to all of the people who watch this on a regular basis, but if you're new to my channel, I have personal and work-related expenses. I'm working on dividing the two, but we'll see how that's going to happen next year. But this year it was kind of challenging to divide some of my expenses because it was easier to just have everything on one spreadsheet. Shopping, all of this is me doing damage, baby. $467.17. And you guys be on the lookout as well. What I'm planning on doing at the end of the year is to go on my Amazon and look at all of my expenses and really break down, because even though my Amazon shopping, all of it falls under Amazon, all of my Amazon expenses all fall under shopping. Not all of them are shopping related. Some of them are things that I actually need for my business, for my rental properties, or sometimes even for my work. But don't get me wrong, yes, a lot of that is me doing all of the damage. And when it comes to food, I'm going to make a distinction between food that was for me personally and food that was for work. Almost always when you see a restaurant, it is because I am spending it on work-related stuff. So for food and dining, for work-related, I spent $245.21, and then the rest is groceries. And that is also another summary that I'm going to do at the end of the year. I'm going to go through my Walmart expenses and really itemize what did I spend on actual groceries and what did I spend on toiletries. Ended up changing this particular section on my spreadsheet. Used to just be food and dining. Now it's food, dining, and home supplies. That makes me feel a little bit better, because sometimes if you look at food and dining, 461, it's easy to kind of freak out a little bit. But when you realize that that $461 includes toiletries, my hygiene supplies, toilet paper, sometimes even one time I bought fitness items, right? It starts to look a little bit differently. It's not like I'm just spending money on, you know, I'm spending $400 a week on food. That's not it. It's a combination of everything. Personal care. This is a big number, right? But you guys may be aware that I started working with a personal trainer. It's going very well. I'm seeing my body change. Unfortunately, for those of us who don't have the discipline to do it on our own, it costs you a little bit of money, but it's money well spent, in my opinion. Let's look at business services. Under business services, I have two sets of expenses. One of it is business related, is my own personal side hustle related. The other one is work related, but I keep it all under business. I do have to say that I'm appreciating the fact that this business service number is starting to slow down a little bit, because for a while there it was started to get out of control, which unfortunately for me it can be a little bit easy to do. Industry conference seminar, so 168. That was an industry event that I attended, so I tend to put those on the conference or seminars. I can also call it industry events. Bills and utilities, okay, that tracks. For those of you who may not be aware, I bought a new car almost exactly a year ago. After being without a car for a year, I ended up pulling the trigger and buying a car, because it was really tough to live in California without a car and having a job where I have to go see customers on a regular basis. What I do with my car payment is that I divide them into 4 weeks. That allows me to kind of reduce the amount of total interest that I'm going to pay in the end. So I divide all of my payments in 4 weeks. Like I pay on a weekly basis, and then I pay an extra $25. So that's about an extra $100 a month towards my payment, so it enables me to be able to pay it off faster. Now, my goal is to finish paying off this car in the next year and a half. We'll see if that's gonna track. Have that auto and transport. Actually, this is a work-related expense. I'm gonna put it under car rentals, tolls, and parking. So that was a work-related expense. So I'm missing $4.04. This is why I start by putting the total here, because by the time I'm done, I will see where I potentially made a mistake. 268 business services is 268. So 168.43. 350 business services is bills and utility is 186. Shopping giving face, trying to figure out what's going on here. Let's see, 461.04. Yes, we are reconciled, you guys. This has just not been a good month for me at all in terms of my spending. I have gone way above what I had expected, especially on the shopping front. Almost every week was just an overwhelm of shopping expenses. Now, before we do anything else, let me review how much I brought in, if anything at all. This, okay. So income for this week, oh, that was for the week before, that's why let's change this to the second, apply. I am kind of looking forward at this point. I'm like, now that I look at some of the glitches that used to come with Mint, maybe it's a good thing that they're getting rid of it, because knowing things like this will happen regularly. So I brought $271.21 for transactions. I know that most of these were returns, because I will spend money and then I will feel guilty about spending the money. It's becoming a little bit easier for me to spend because I've gotten rid of all of my credit cards. So now I'm like, oh, I kind of don't want to feel like I'm poor, even though I have quite a lot of debt to get rid of. There's a part of me that also just kind of want to take a deep breath and kind of buy things that I want, as opposed to just buying things that I need. So that's where the mindset comes from. However, I got about $271 worth of returns for this week, so I can kind of pat myself on the back for that. So yeah, that is where I stand for the month of October. All right, you guys, that is a wrap for my weekly expenses this week. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another video, and I will see you guys in my monthly overview video. And if you like this video, you guys, please give it a thumbs up. I have a lot coming up for you guys in terms of Mint alternatives, different videos on my own personal journey, and also more of these budgeting videos. All right, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.